person consciousness?
Fortunately or unfortunately, I do not know much about these movements, but I would say that any movement which tends to emphasize the necessity of looking into yourself, improving yourself, developing your consciousness is a movement in the right direction. If it suits me, if it suits you, it is meant for you. There will be a stage when that may not meet your situation needs. A larger movement, a larger technique may be necessary. It is at that time that you shall not, be lethargic. That becomes an institutional guru again. Not an individual guru, but an institutional guru. So we have to learn, to take advantage of things, but go beyond them when the time arises.
What do you recommend that we do as just our daily lives to get in touch with the teacher that we have inside of ourselves?
Yes. First, we must have that faith that there is the divine presence, that there is a spark of God in us. And then we must devote some time at least during the day to sit quiet, turn our attention inwards and think of that, pray to that, and that is called meditation, self-contemplation, self-observation. And we must read experiences, records of mystics, other spiritual teachers, each one of whom has something to tell us, something to guide. But we have to assimilate it in ourselves. And we must orientate our external life in day-to-day matters in conformity with the ideal we have chosen. This is where most people fail. We make a distinction between external life and inner life. That will not do. Inner life can't grow in a vacuum. It needs a proper background. You have to reshape your external life, expressing only those values which are conducive to the growth of the inner consciousness, like truth, harmony, love, compassion, kindliness. These are the qualities that are to be developed, promoted, organized in our life, and the opposites have to be eschewed. And company of those who think alike, who seek alike, and who have the same aspirations. Company is very important. One begins with that. And as one starts, something, one experiences some peace or some security, a sense of security, seeps out from life and guides you. It takes time, but one must persist, and this persistence has to be by yourself. Most people tend to run away from this necessity by just following rules ABC or 1, 2, 3 printed in books and pamphlets. But that doesn't work. So each one has to make it a living adventure, a living practice of growth towards God. Meditation, contemplation, systematic study, and orientation of life in terms of the truths that one reads, that one wants to realize. This, I think, is a sufficient scaffolding for a live discipline that will form itself in you.
If the Godhead is omnipotent part of God, if we are all searching for His presence, and we are attain, the goal we are to attain would be a collective knowledge, collective joy in His presence. Then why should we seek it individually? Why wouldn't it be more beneficial to us collectively as man to be of one mind and of one goal?
That is a culmination towards which humanity is moving. Today, the conditions are not ready. So a large number of individuals preparing themselves, becoming centers for the radiation of this presence and light. That is going to create the ideal conditions in which the presence of God, the consciousness of God, the unity of life will be felt on a larger and larger, a cosmic scale. But we have to create those conditions, and each awakened individual owes it to humanity to exert himself in that direction. Yes?
I would like to know where the use of drugs that is going on in this country, and I presume others, where that fits in. It seems to me like that's being used also for people to get in touch with themselves. And I also would like to know in the Vedic sacrifice, there was something called soma that was used, and I would like to know if you feel that was a hallucinogenic. No.
What was soma in the Vedic sacrifice? It had its counterpart in the religious rituals of this earlier civilizations in South America, some things in the Mediterranean countries. But all this, the soma, the wine, it is called, described as the wine. It is the elixir of life, the essence of one's life experience. That was offered to the divine powers. After filtering the experiences of pain and pleasure, success and failure, the essence of what one lived, that is offered, and that is called the soma, the juice of life. And it is pressed out from a plant symbolically. The plant is the human being, the human system. And it is that inner joy that is offered to God. It is that happiness, that joy that is offered to the divine. And it is not a hallucinogenic drug, as many scholars, they have gone to India and they are going searching in the various mountains, forests for that plant, And I also have received number of letters from scholars. Is this that plant? Is this plant? Books have been written as usual for PhDs, and people have got their doctorates from. But it is not that. And it has been an experience of all spiritual seekers who have no prejudice in the matter, that the use of drugs for spiritual purposes has no meaning. The drugs disintegrate the consciousness. Spiritual disciplines integrate the consciousness, make it whole, gather up the threads of consciousness spread in 100 directions. And meditations, concentrations, yoga, they all gather together and what you call integrate the various levels. This strikes at the root of it and disintegrates the consciousness, makes a permanent damage to those organs, on those organs which are used as instruments by the inner consciousness. The visions that we see, the colors, the splendid forms, patterns that begin to be seen when one takes these drugs, they are not spiritual visions. but fantasies of what is called the vital mind. That is, there is a mind which is involved in our vitality, the life of senses, and the subtler domains open up, and you begin to see all these wonders. They are mistaken for spiritual experience. A spiritual experience will not have a hangover. But these, I have consulted, I have talked to a number of people who have taken these things. With great sympathy I have followed. And each one of them has told me that afterwards they have found themselves worse than what they were before. Something missing, something gone, and they have never been able to do it. I know of a person who is with me in India. He is a German boy. It is now 8 years since he has stopped drugs. And he has come, and he still has an obsession that there is a hole inside the stomach. There is a black hole, he says. He has seen something vividly, and he thinks it is there. And he fights shy of mixing with people. He likes to be alone. He indulges in depressions. All these things happen. They are anti-spiritual growth.
Pandit, do you feel that certain diets or nourishment of the body can facilitate the growth of the body in harboring the Christ consciousness or the God consciousness?
First expression I didn't get. Certain diets. Diets or?
Diet.
Or foods. Or anything else? Second thing?
Nourishment.
There is some truth in it, but I think we are overdoing it. We are overdoing things because it is the psychological food that I take that really decides whether I am in a condition to receive the Christ consciousness or keep it away far from me. It is not so much the physical food as the psychological food of feelings, ideas, thoughts, emotions. That vitiates or that builds. So we have in one of our Upanishads a statement that by purity of food there is purity of stuff of being. And it has been explained authentically that here by purity of food it is not kitchen food that is meant, but the psychological food. Having said that, there is some truth in saying that certain foods which are gross, which are heavy, they produce in us a heaviness, pull us down, gravitate downwards. We become earthy. And that happens only when we take such heavy foods in excess. But by and large, I would say that from common sense point of view, whatever food suits you best, your body, that is natural to you. By becoming vegetarian, one does not reach God. By eating non-vegetarian food as most Westerners do, or people in the tundras and poles, they have to do, they can't be denied access to God. It doesn't really matter, really. Though personally, I would think twice before eating a higher developed species of life. There is life everywhere, that's true. But by eating food, a life which is evolved more and more, I am interfering with the economy of nature. From that point of view, I would not eat, flesh of highly developed animals. There is a difference between egg, chicken, fish, and beef. Beef, that is it cow, no? cow. It is a highly developed animal, you know. It's one step before eating an ape. Or as the Chinese do, you know, they say the Chinese are the one people on earth who will never die by famine, because they will eat anything. You know. So I think we have to balance what is available, what is necessary for my body, and what things I like. Usually liking indicates something that is necessary for the system. Thank you.
Really not much more to say. This is the last meeting of the series. Miss Connie Bounds of Dalton's Bookstore has brought some books by Sri Aurobindo, the Mother, and Sri Pandit, which I believe are on sale. If you're interested, you could look at those on the way out. But I have nothing more really to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah.